rather than a vertical face with curbing, it's at a slope. It's at a slope, so you can dump to get up into the property.
Okay, so the crosswalk, which will be ADA accessible, is just created to just kind of allow you to go over that top island?
So the top of the island will be cut off and done differently. In order, because right now, you walk across this crosswalk and you come to a 4 or 5 inch vertical granite curve. You cross the island, you step off the curve, and you continue down to the edge of the road, not even to the sidewalk. So the idea would be to remove that. It can be done in paint, it can be done in some sort of concrete treatment, just to show that's what it is.
So you're just going to go kind of right through that top island, and that will then be safe for a person that is on a wheelchair or baby
And
carriage?
it still provides a little bit of refuge because you're in the middle of the street and your car is going, in whatever direction, the place you could seek refuge if you needed it. That you couldn't walk, you needed to catch your breath, or a truck going through that.
It'd be much safer with this new situation than you are now, which is kind of.
It's a third less in length. Right now, it comes across along the diagonal and perpendicular to the two streets to make it a much shorter crossing.
Okay, and this new layout doesn't affect one-ways or anything? All the routes are exactly the way they are today, correct?
There's no traffic movement changes here, no ordinance requests in this proposal.
And you're 100% certain that it won't affect 18-wheeler trucks trying to get through there for business situations, because it's no different than it is today, with the exception of these ADA compliant sidewalks and crossing.
And those crosswalks, those aprons, those ramps are in existing places today, whether or not they're a true ramp or not. There's still places you can step off the sidewalk onto a crosswalk. And Boston did not do a very good job of making the city handicap accessible. And we've been trying very hard to make any sidewalk work compliant, which includes crosswalk ramps.
Okay, and I just have 2 more questions, I'm sorry. My other question is that this is still listed as estimated project cost of $500,000, and we're requesting $400,000?
So 400 is the limit on the Complete Streets program.
Okay.
Again, this has been a fast and furious process, trying to get this revised. Needs to be submitted tomorrow, and obviously the cost estimate was finished this afternoon. I don't want to speak for community development. I don't know. In fact, the cost estimate and the narrative have been carried out completely.
So if we go under, so part of the analysis is that they will do a more specific cost impact after they approve this, hopefully? Is that how it works?
It's part of the resubmission of this,
Okay.
and an estimate needs to go in with it, which is done. Again, let's finish up this.
Okay. Okay, and then my final question, to piggyback on what the mayor said, is that there will be an opportunity for a site visit during the conversation part of this. So business owners will be able to take a look at it and have that opportunity to give feedback and talk through it. Can you explain that a little bit?
Just the will of the council and the will of the mayor. Obviously, the existing permit where it lays today is will lay after this. It's just going to be brought up to an elevation that provides appropriate reveal, how much curb sticks out of the asphalt. The cross slopes to the sidewalks are appropriate. And the ramps have to meet certain code. You can't really draw those out, but certainly the corners of Angle Street would realign crosswalks. That would be done easily, you can see it. If that's the goal, we can certainly draw that out so we can see it.
Okay.
Other than that, there are no changes.
Okay, and then going forward, at the next go-around, we'll have an opportunity to look at our next priorities in the queue. The Washington Street sidewalk, the Raynard Street sidewalk, the sidewalks at West Parish on Concord Street. Those things we'll have an opportunity to bring those forward during the next go-around. Is that how this works?
That priority list was submitted as part of this Complete Streets program.
Okay.
It certainly makes sense to revisit that as soon as you'd like to in preparation for next year.
Okay.
Obviously, sidewalks anywhere that really don't exist today have an impact on a neighborhood, they have an impact on storm runoff. Again, this is a neighborhood that sidewalks exist. And the neighborhoods that don't have sidewalks, such as Concord Street from the school back to the highway, there could be some issues with that we need to discuss very carefully in the context of the neighborhood meeting. And right on street as well, just the existing sidewalk comes up to the side that they can't continue to extend it across that point to right on to Church.
What I suggest is when we find out, we have this, and we find out the next phase that we're talking about, whoever's board that is, they should start in January, and by the time that the next has to be, we're already set. We'll have all the engineer plans, everything else, the scopes and everything. So whoever board's next, and we'll know that by phase 2. I don't know if it's Emerson and Centennial or Concord or Raymond. It depends which phase is next. We'll find that out, and that's when each ward council really needs to then have the meetings and work with us and figure out how we want it and what the people want. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so just a follow on to that. So in our P&D meeting, when we were all talking about prioritizing, Sean, Melissa, and I all agreed that we felt that the Concord Street crosswalk was more important than the Raynard Street, just in terms of the amount of speed the cars were going and the fact that, one seemed to be a bigger safety issue. So I would assume that we get
We need to focus on sidewalks.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we'll work with you, absolutely.
Okay, all right, that's great. I'm
We're
sorry.
short on time.
Okay, Mike, you were wonderful. Thank you for answering all your questions and for reading this to us. I appreciate it a lot.
I'm just going to want to piggyback on the mayor's comments, with Val's question, so Council Givens' question about the follow-up with the business and stuff like that. Council Cox and myself will make sure that the businesses that are on Commercial Street and in the downtown area are full aware of the process which is going to happen, or if it's going to happen, schedules, dates. I'm sure the administration of the DPW will gladly hand us some drawings, some sketches of exactly what's going to happen down there, so we can convey it to the Ward 2.
Before we get snow, or even when we get snow, we can, because people say, well, after the snow, we can't go. What we could do is, after this is presented, yes, you'll have your meeting, what we could do is ask some of the Commercial Street businesses, bring their trucks. We'll ask for the fire truck to go on one side. We'll ask for another 18-wheeler to go on another side. We'll put rope or a line, like we did when we did, we did this with before. And we had the truck going up. Sometimes just seeing people stand there is not the visual of actually seeing something. When we did the visual with trucks, I always got right over, if you remember. So we said, there's no way that this is going to be able to turn around. So we'll do that. We'll bring the trucks out. I said that for Roger Street. Let's bring the trucks out. Who knows better? Let's bring the truck, a bus, the biggest fire ladder we have, fire truck ladder we have. Let's bring that there and let's see pedestrians try to walk. We can do that. That's a visual. Because I know a lot of people didn't like seeing the visual or didn't like seeing that. Well, we'll make it more visual if we have to. But the fact, understanding that we're doing this, and yes, if we, after you do the visual, you say, you know what, it's impossible. Then we say thank you to the state and say, no thank you. And we'll do it eventually out of our own money. Because remember something. Look, when someone says, we're doing this in a rush, we've been having plans, harbor studies, whether you want to believe the hotel, but way before the hotel, the harbor plan that we did in 2001, all said we need sidewalks in that area, Commercial Street, all of that. It was already said over and over and over. We just never did it. I'm just listening to what other people said and said, can you do this? I asked Mike, easy money. Some of the past, I found the other project by mistake. And if I wanted to do it, I would have done it. But I went, no, I put it out there. Not to make anyone afraid. It's to work together. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. I asked you before to trust me, and I'm telling you again. Trust me.
Councilor Ramon, this conversation. Councilor O'Hara.
Just to confirm, I asked this question in the last week's council meeting when we addressed this. You would anticipate construction to be completed by the end of April?
The funding cycle runs through this fiscal year, so the funding, I need to verify that with the DOT. The work should be completed by then. June.
June,
Yeah.
It's the islands that,
Before Fiesta.
right, well, yeah, but the islands themselves would remain in the same position, but they would be rebuilt.
We're not even proposing rebuilding them, other than the one that requires the side
Crosswalk.
crosswalk.
Yes.
Honestly, that can be done at a different time. I mean, I said at the last meeting, I didn't want to go frame it up too much, you know, what would happen in the future, but obviously you can see nothing happens on the Roger Street side of it, something, if anything, in the future, or not.
And I know you don't have noted on it, but the existing sidewalks that are in place would remain in the general location.
We're already raising and reset, so that means they're in the same motion. Trying to show that if you took the existing conditions, plan, just one for that, and that one, put them on a window with light behind it, you'll see everything spread over. It's hard to see on a piece of the paper, but certainly the digital model of that is easy to see.
Would you anticipate the diagram, the crosswalk that is in front of St. Peter's Club, goes over towards latitude 23, that's kind of at an angle, really going the shortest distance?
So
Being relocated?
I would, and we're actually developing a plan right now that takes a look at Fisherman's Wharf and how the access to that facility should be better served. And it would include some sheltering and some parking. We have a hydrant in the way, we have a skewed crosswalk, and those things can be easily consolidated to increase parking along that stretch. Makers allow loading or fueling area up, move the existing loading from the house, again, as a council vote, but you could make more sense of it by moving it 25 feet. You know, it would impact anyone adversely, but would greatly improve access to some of that particular site. That's what the time we were at, was at this week, not with the administration, but the business.
So that crosswalk, as you said, it goes kind of at a diagonal, makes a longer distance, longer time it takes a person to cross the road.
It's an odd configuration, that short.
So you would correct that? You'll
Not
look
as part of this, that's a separate look. But again, I think looking at this proposal allowed us to identify some of the constraints in the neighborhood, which the crosswalk, hydrants, and the loading zone, and access to trucks coming from Weston Ave. Maybe not come to a way forever, and certainly there's some limitations of that when the Linden Bridge is reconstructed for sure, but at least for the time being, it wouldn't hurt.